All right, we are live. Barstool units coming to you live from the Barstool office, which is currently falling apart, but we found a few empty rooms. I'm Coach Doug's with me, as always, Frank the Tank Fleming. Frank, how you doing?
It's fine. By the way, this is a very nice episode of Barstool Units, and we don't have any bottled water, but we have water falling from the sky.
Yeah, the we came into the office on Monday or Tuesday.
Well, the flood hit yesterday,
That's right. That's right. And so yeah, I don't
Wednesday.
know. I'm still getting back to. I flew in from Nashville on Monday, but yeah, the office is falling apart. The Wi-Fi is spotty. There's more water than there is internet access. But hey, we're pushing through it because we're strong like that.
The old buildings in New York. That's typically what it is.
Yeah. Well, the problem isn't even like I mean, obviously the water is a big thing to clean up, but like there's still pieces of the ceiling falling down. So it's not a matter of like, oh, hey, everything's dry. It's like, no, the ceiling is still falling in. Like this is still a hazard.
I mean, the roof is caving in here and in the Bronx
Why in the Bronx?
because the Yankees' 117-game lead is down to 6.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Do you feel any, for those that don't know, Frank made a bold prediction before the season started that the Yankees would have a losing season. I think it's still mathematically possible, right?
No, not really.
No, not really. It's not mathematically possible for them to have a losing season
Mhm.
if they
They're
only win like games out of their next 30.
they'd have to go 3-27, 3-27.
Okay, so it's mathematically possible. Frank,
Yeah.
I'm giving you a bone. Take the bone.
Well,
Frank's bold prediction is not out of the park yet
here's my bone. The Yankees are one of the worst teams in baseball since the All-Star break.
since the All-Star break. That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. Your bold prediction was that they would have a losing record for the first time in what since 92, 94,
30 years, 1992.
92. And it looked like a normal Frank bold prediction up until the All-Star break. It looked like, yep, if you faded him, you're probably doing pretty well. But since the All-Star break, the Yankees have not looked so hot.
The sports book over/under was like 91,
Yeah. So if
and
you
I
yeah,
hit
so okay,
under.
so if you, all right, so
That
you're
is
still looking
possible.
good. Yeah, you're still looking good on that. Now the Mets obviously have a very easy September schedule. I think everyone can agree on that. How is the Yankees schedule looking?
Mm, I don't think it's that hard, but
Mm,
they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels and uh, lost 2 games to the A's. They've lost five. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games to the Angels and A's, who are 2 of the worst teams in the American League. So
yeah,
I don't even know what's going on with their schedule. They're just not clicking at all. The only thing that's clicking is Aaron Judge home runs,
yeah,
and he's looking good to get that 62.
yeah. Now speaking of home runs, do you think Pujols will do it?
Yes, I think he'll I think he'll get to 700.
Yeah, I hope
So
so. That's one of the few baseball bets I've taken this season.
though, wouldn't it be just so painful and tantalizing if he's sitting there 699 with the last week to go and doesn't
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah. Now I was talking with some friends about this because it was on the. I don't know if it's still on the Barstool Sports book, but it was a boosted bet. I think it was like plus 1025. It was like plus 1,000 for him to get the 700 home runs. And you think, say he's at 698, 699. Do you think there are pitchers out there who respect Albert Pujols or who grew up watching him that are like, hey, I don't mind him hitting a 700th home run on me? Or do you think all the pitchers are going to be like, no, I'm not going to let that be me?
If he's playing, if the Cardinals are playing against a team that's out of the pennant race, you might see him get a pitch grooved.
Yeah. So
it's happened.
Yeah.
At one time, 1968. What's his name? Denny McLain won 31 games, last 30-game winner. And Mickey Mantle came to bat. At the time, he was tied with Jimmy Fox for second most home runs in the American League history. Willie Mays had already passed him, so he was trying to get third all time. And he was tied with Jimmy Fox for 536. It was like last week of the season, and this 30-game winner, Denny McLain, basically told Mickey Mantle, I'm going to throw you a fastball. Mm-hmm. And he just glued a fastball, and Mantle ended up hitting a home run. It was his last home run of his career, and he passed Jimmy Fox.
There you go. So it's happened before, and it might happen again.
And even though Chan-Ho Park denies it, I have no doubt he grooved a pitch to Cal Ripken in the 2001 All-Star game.
Yeah. Now, Chan-Ho Park, you've interviewed him before, right?
Later that year, Chan-Ho Park also gave up Barry Bonds' 71st homer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go. You called it, Frank. You called it. Well, speaking of giving up homers, I tell you what, was it Nimmo that caught the ball last night?
Brandon Nimmo, yep.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, obviously he was cheering him, but I was waiting for the replay. I wanted him because they didn't show like they did on the replay, but like he didn't open up his glove and like show that he had the ball or anything. And I'm like, it was such a great catch. I was half convinced that he didn't actually catch it and he was just playing it off. My brain was like, that was such a great catch.
And the crazy thing is, 2 years ago, he was one of the worst defensive center fielders in baseball.
Yeah. We look at better.
I mean, I don't know what caused the improvement, but maybe actually having technology and spray charts and positioning coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget when I found out that when Steve Cohen was assessing the Mets situation when he took over the offices, mm-hmm. They said that they were basically running like Windows 7 computers in the Mets office.
Yeah. Yeah. At least it wasn't Vista, right? Vista was the worst. But yeah, that's for a MLB team, a team that's worth billions of dollars to be running. Microsoft.
They said all their software and computers were like 10 years old.
Is that the Wilpons?
Yep.
What's it like? Tell me what that's like to go from an owner that like nobody cared about, nobody liked, nobody respected, to probably having the owner that everyone else in the league, all the other fans of teams in the league would want. Is there another baseball owner that other fans would say, no, I prefer this owner over Cohen?
Not really. I know there's other successful owners, but it really you're starting to feel the change now. And this weekend, the Old Timers Day especially.
Yeah, and that's what you did over the weekend, right? You went to the Old Timers game.
Yes. The Mets had not had an Old Timers Day since 1994. They had a micro Old Timers game in '99 with a couple of the '69 players. Mm-hmm. But a true Old Timers Day where they brought back players throughout the years. And in the early days of the Mets, Old Timers Day was like the ticket to get people to go to games. And it wasn't Old Timer Mets. They bring back old players from about the majors. In the 80s, they had this company called Equitable. I think they might have been an insurance company. and they sponsored old timers games for almost every team. Then Upper Deck took it over for a few years, and after the strike, nobody wanted to do the old timers days anymore, and they just completely died. Only a few teams would do it. Like the Yankees would do their old timers day, and the Mets hadn't done a real old timers day since 1994.
Why did the strike have any impact on that, or was that just a coincidence?
It could have been coincidence, and it was also just like the sponsors just weren't there.
Gotcha.
I think the sponsors just pulled out.
Yeah. So this was a good old timers game. Did you happen to bring Lenny with you? I know we talked about you bringing Lenny.
Well, Glenny wasn't with me on on Old Timers Day. He actually just was there separately when I was there with Clemmer on Tuesday.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Dykstra.
Oh, you said Lanny. I offered him a ticket. I offered Lenny Dykstra a ticket.
For a moment, I thought you were saying that Dykstra had gone to the game, and I was like,
no, I thought you said Glenny.
No.
Lenny Pujols was at the game.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, no, Lenny Dykstra.
Yeah, I offered him. He's not welcome pretty much by the Mets.
I can't imagine. I mean, I guess there's a few A's fans that are no longer probably welcome to the Oakland A's game. Do
you know last week the A's had a game where they had announced attendance? The announced attendance was 2,620. That's the announced attendance.
Yeah, that means that, and there's probably a lot of tickets that were sold, people that were there that, were not official.
I mean, 2620, and that's a fairly large stadium.
Yeah, well, I remember the Orioles game last year. I think it's really cool. I grew up being a Cal Ripken Jr. fan. I think it's really cool to see how bad the Orioles were last year and how things have turned around. Like you're getting highlight reels with like the stadium's full. It's like it shows you like what a winning team can really look like in the stands.
Yeah, things have turned around significantly for the Orioles.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but they're definitely, the fact that they're going to be playing September games
that are meaningful
is quite a change for the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. Obviously, I was joking. I was referencing the couple that was caught via camera.
It happened again.
Adult activities. I know. I saw it happen in Toronto.
The only difference was in Oakland, they took them a week to catch him. Toronto, they didn't even play around. They were just running up there, and no, we're stopping this. They put a stop to it.
Yeah. I'm with Oakland. I think the most surprising part about like the fans having sex in the stands was that there were fans in the stands. Like, oh, can you believe that? No, I can't believe that. There was people at the game.
I mean,
they're moving to Vegas, right?
Eventually, they keep talking that they want to build a stadium in Oakland, but it looks like Oakland doesn't want to give them the land to build a stadium. They want to build a stadium that's like closer to downtown. It's like by the port. It's got like I think there's a rail that goes there. They said they want to keep them out in the middle of nowhere in the Coliseum, where the Warriors are already out, and they don't know what to do with the Warriors' old arena. And this crumbling old 60-year-old arena, 60-year-old stadium, which has foul lines which make seeing the game hard. The bathrooms flood. The clubhouses flood. The sewage backs up. There's no bathroom in the visiting clubhouse. So there's like basically they have like an outhouse that they've built at the end of the dugout in Oakland.
It is there has to be somebody's pocketing money somewhere, because there's no reasonable explanation that Oakland, after losing their NFL franchise, would not be doing everything possible to keep their MLB franchise.
It is. It's just not a major league city anymore.
Someone's got to be pocketing money somewhere to not go out, to not at least try and keep the A's there.
And the crazy thing is, they could have moved to San Jose, except the Giants got a monopoly on the San Jose market area and will not allow the A's to even think about going to San Jose. Which
Yeah.
would be,
Yeah.
if you want to keep a team in Northern California, a second team in Northern California, San Jose is the way. It's become Silicon Valley. It's a bigger city than it once was. But 30 years ago, the Giants asked the A's permission to put a minor league team in San Jose, and the A's said, "Oh, sure, yeah, that's not our market. You can grab it." And when the Giants took the market in San Jose, they basically, "Oh, this is our market. You can't even touch it. Don't even think about it, Oakland. No, you can't move here. We got a minor league team here, and it's our territory, and you can't be here."
Yeah. And I guess the MLB is sticking with that.
Yep. The A's basically said, "Oh, well, no, yeah, we don't need San Jose. You can take San Jose."
Yeah. We'll go to Vegas. And so we talked about this now. So the A's are likely to move to Vegas. We were talking to Clemmer in the office earlier.
The Rays.
That's
going to be interesting to see what happens with the Rays.
I think Tampa and St. Pete will come to an agreement, because I believe that's what the issue now is. It's all about tax incentives and everything. I believe Tampa and St. Pete would come to an agreement together to keep the Rays there before letting them move.
I think that is going to happen. I think because Tampa will find a way to rally to keep the Rays.
Yeah, because it's Florida and the Rays are a good team. They have reasons to keep them there.
They just got to move the team closer to. They got to move the team closer to the Tampa.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. The stadium is in St. Pete. St. Pete doesn't want them to move because they're not going to see any revenue from any future games. So Tampa has to incentivize that somehow. That's my understanding of it so far. But still, that still leaves two expansion teams to come, right? MLB wants to expand, right? So We've talked about it before. If Vegas gets a team, then if Oakland moves to Vegas, there's still going to be two expansion teams to go. So where are those teams going?
I think Nashville is the leader in the clubhouse, though. I don't know if I want them to be the leader in the clubhouse anymore. If they're going to be called the Nashville Stars, that's so bad.
When we were talking about that, where it's if the Nashville Sounds are the current minor league team in Nashville, Clemmer brought up a point of marketing and everything and marketability, and would that really give them an opportunity to sell a whole bunch of shirts and hats and everything if they just keep the name? That's a good point. But then he said the name that they want is the Stars, and that is such a generic, basic name. I would rather them just not even get a team. I'd rather them just stay the Nashville Sounds. If
they can't, if their name is going to be Nashville Stars, then I never want them to get a major league team. If that's the name they're going to choose, then they should never get one. That is a name that is so boring and generic, it sucks.
Yeah. Shout out Dallas.
Well, keep in mind the Dallas Stars are the Minnesota North Stars,
and that's why I was going to say that. I was going to reference that. It makes sense. They just kept the Stars.
They actually toyed with changing their name to something different.
Really? What were they going to do?
Dallas Lone Stars.
I think Dallas Stars is a lot easier, but I can see Lone Stars.
Yeah, they actually toyed with being the Lone Stars and decided just to be the Stars.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right decision. But yeah, I mean the Dow
Probably
or
is.
the Nashville Stars. I mean, calling yourself the Stars, especially as an expansion team, you might as well call yourselves the Wildcats. You know, it's like it's just such a basic, generic name. It's garbage.
It's boring.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, well there you go. But hopefully they get a team, and hopefully it's not the Stars. Hopefully the name is not the Stars.
And I still think the Carolinas are a good candidate to get a team, even though they might be kind of close to Nashville. I mean, it'd be good is it would slice up the fan base, which would make me very happy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think any team going in there, because I mean that's what you look at. I mean, I think everybody in Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. I mean,
Not
that's
necessarily.
not necessarily what.
Not uh, Louisiana,
Mhm.
Arkansas, Mississippi, and Western Tennessee. They have a strong connection to the Cardinals.
Okay. All right. I can see that. I can
Because the
see that.
Cardinals used to have Cardinals. The Cardinals have always been a good team. Always been a good team for
Mhm.
years. I'm going back to the 40s and 50s, and they had a radio station. I don't know if they're still on. I don't think they're on it anymore. But for years, they were on a station called KMOX, and this is before television. And KMOX went throughout that region, that little Mississippi River Basin.
Yeah.
The Mississippi River Basin, all those states have historically been Cardinal country.
Because there's nobody else there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, it's going to be. I'm excited for the end of the baseball season. It looks like it's going to be a few good races to the end. I tell you what, though, last night we talked about it.
Well, you know what I
The
did?
Trump.
You know what I did last week, don't you?
No, what?
I have brought playoff tickets.
You have purchased playoff tickets?
I have purchased playoff tickets.
Can we talk about that real quick? So we've talked about this before in the car. I'm not sure if we've done it on the show. You do not use the term bought. There is the term bought. It's not even that you misuse it. It's that you don't use it at all. The term bought, BOUGHT, is not in your vocabulary.
I
Is that
brought
fair
playoff
to say?
tickets. I brought the
You
playoff
brought
tickets.
now, and
Yes.
when you say you brought playoff tickets, you're saying that you purchased them, not that you have brung them with you.
Right. I purchased playoff tickets.
Where does that come from? Where does the term brought, like, oh, I brought a bagel, I brought a
That's how
phone?
my mother spoke.
So your mother said brought, not bought.
Yes.
How do you say? And again, so it's not that you say it wrong or anything. You just say brought instead of bought. But then when the correct use of brought, the past tense of to bring, you don't even say that. Like if you said, oh, I'm bringing this, if you said I'm bringing my baseball glove to the game with me in a past tense way, how would you say that?
I took my glove to the game.
You would always say took.
Yes.
Okay. What if you're saying it like you wouldn't say I took my glove. Like if I asked you, oh, did you bring your glove? You wouldn't say I yes, I took it. Would you?
I got it.
All right, that's again, it's not even. I mean, obviously it's wrong. I was going to say it's not wrong. No, it's wrong, but it's just another Frankism, I guess. But anyway, so I don't know where to go with that. But so you purchased some playoff. You have brought some playoff tickets for the
Yep.
Mets.
Yep.
You're pretty confident that those are going to be you're going to get those tickets.
Yeah. The Mets are the worst case scenario now is a wild card.
Worst case.
Yes.
So worst case scenario, they're a wild card.
Yeah.
Okay. What are they?
Well,
Are they 4 games ahead right now? 3?
3 games ahead.
3 games ahead. With only
you know how they have they actually have in the standings now playoff percentage change,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically tell you the percent. Do what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on ESPN. Well, they have the playoff percentage chances. They have other players do it. Other places do it too. Where they have the playoff percentage chances of making the playoffs.
Like the probability of them making the playoffs.
Yes.
Gotcha.
The Mets are at 99%.
I'm glad you brought this up. The Mets are at 99%, and you feel confident, like, okay, 99%, it's going to happen. The trumpets last night. I didn't want to be.
That made me nervous, but he pitched well. He got the job done. He was dominant.
Yes, absolutely. No,
but
Diaz was
things like that. Things like that make me always wonder. Oh, are we tempting fate?
Yeah, and that's what obviously I'm not a Mets fan. I don't think I could have enjoyed that as a Mets fan. I'm a positive person. I think I'm usually pretty positive, but like coming out with like a live trumpet player, the trumpet player that plays the trumpet for that song in the middle of a game, it feels like you're setting yourself up for the biggest letdown. And I don't know if that's just me, like, getting to New York and like, oh, hey, I feel negative about things or being a cynic.
I definitely felt that too. I felt that too.
I don't think as a Mets fan, I think it would have been really cool if, I don't know. I think it was cool. I'll say that. I think it was cool. But if I was a Mets fan, I don't think I could have enjoyed it.
Well, there's always that in the back of the head, and that's just how Steve Cohen continues to change the atmosphere. The highlight of Old Timers Day wasn't the Old Timers game itself, but the surprise announcement that the Mets retired the number 24 in honor of Willie Mays.
Yeah.
No one saw that coming, and it was a promise made by the original owner, Joan Payson, and then she died before they had a chance to retire it. And now Willie Mays and Willie Mays is actually still alive. He wasn't at the ceremony. He had his son there for him. But the fact that Willie Mays actually is still alive and knows that the Mets have retired his number is a good thing. It's too often they do things like this after someone passes, and now Willie Mays' number is they're gonna hopefully put the number up soon. It wasn't up for this series because I guess when they go on the road they usually do the hanging of different banners and stuff like that. So they'll get that set up. And I went to the comedy club. We talked about this briefly. And I went with Stu Sunday to a comedy club on Long Island, the Paramount. And they had like Pete Alonso Foundation. And they had a bunch of comedians there, including Chris DiStefano. Jim Brewer was the headliner. And other Mets were there. They're in the balcony and everything. But sitting 2 tables over from me is none other than Stephen Cohen.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, me and Stu kept looking at each other, thinking about how we can go over there. But we never actually got a chance to go over there.
Yeah. I wonder how many feet away you could have gotten before security would have tackled you. Just like plain clothes.
Security wouldn't have had a chance.
Oh, really?
There literally was, I was less than 10 feet from him the whole night. The only thing between me and Steve Cohen were 2 other people. Feet? The only thing between me and Steve Cohen was another table, Ben Mintz, and 2 people.
I love that you were so confident. You were so confident.
Me and Stu were looking at each other. We were determining. Me and Stu were looking at each other, thinking about going over there, but we never did.
I mean, Frank, let's talk about this for just a second here. How quickly do you think you can move through 10 feet of space with like people and a table? You think security wouldn't have had a chance to get you?
Well, I wouldn't have done anything bad. I would have just said I would have
No,
knocked him.
no, of course not. No, I'm not implying that. I'm saying just approaching Steve Cohen. You think you could have gotten to Steve Cohen through 10 feet of space and people and tables before his security got to you?
Well, there were a couple of people that did get to him, so.
All right,
But it was,
all right, fair
there were a
enough.
couple
Now
people,
I'm curious. Now I'm curious to see how fast you could move through 10 feet. We got to do.
yeah,
We'll have to do like a 10 feet dash.
it's tough, especially with people around you. And then
Yeah,
then when you're trying to go there, you get the people go, Frank, take a picture of me.
yeah.
But
You're trying to be. You're trying,
those are the people who stopped me from getting to Steve Cohen.
yeah, exactly. That's oh man, this is good. We'll have to do like a 4-yard dash as part of like the unit games.
But yeah, the
All right.
comedy show was good. Jim Brewer did definitely a Met centric stand up routine.
Yeah. Jim Brewer's good. I like Jim Brewer.
So yeah, he was the headliner of the whole night.
Yeah.
If you were in town, I think you would have liked it.
Yeah.
Chris,
I was
Chris DiStefano was also there too.
Chrissy D. Yeah. I'm a big fan of his. I think I would have enjoyed it. I had prior obligations. I went down to Nashville, Tennessee for a 40-hour film project. And I had fun. It was the thing about the 40-hour film project is it's literally you have 48 hours to write, film, edit a movie, a short film. And so it's a matter of like if you're serious about it and you're going all the way, you pretty much stay awake for 48 hours. So it was a hectic weekend, but we got it done, and I think I enjoyed myself. And they had me as the lead role in this little short film. I can't say I fully understood what it was about, but that's not my job. My job was to be the lead actor, and so that's what I did, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Maybe next year I'll go down there and we'll make a remake of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those things. I'm a big movie guy. I like movies. I always thought growing up I would be a movie producer. That was always something. One year I wanted to be a cop. One year I wanted to be a chef. One year I wanted to be a comedian. But a movie producer, that was one that always stuck with me. That was one that I always wanted to do, even when other like professions changed. So I think doing the 40-hour film project, they do one in each city or a lot of major cities. So who knows? Maybe when they're in New York, we can do a New York one.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty
nice.
fun.
How about the Newark Film Festival?
Say what?
How about doing one they're getting the Newark Film Festival?
Yeah, I don't know if we'd make the festival, but we could definitely make a film and trying it in. That I'm telling you, it would be cool. And we have Cliff, our guy in Chicago, said that he is an executive producer on some films and stuff. So who knows? Maybe units go to Hollywood.
That would be fun.
It would be fun. But that's off in the future. That's off in the distance. We have football season this year. I'm really excited about football season. I'm really excited about football season.
I believe you said you're going down to New Orleans to watch the Florida State take on LSU.
I am. I haven't been back to New Orleans since Coach Doug's went. Since Doug's was at LSU back in 2020. So I'm excited to be in New Orleans. Check out Bourbon Street. Go to French Quarter. Just enjoy New Orleans, and then go to the game. FSU is the underdog right now. I think they're -3. There is the promo for LSU. I think Megan Making Money had it. I think if you bet, I want to say if you bet 100, whether you win or lose the bet, you get this nice Southern Marsh LSU purple and gold polo. So that's pretty nice.
Now, that brings us into what I want to start. This is going to be a new feature on units. We're going to bring this every week, and we're playing for the unit belt.
Yeah.
Winner of the entire season. We're going to do 5 college, we're going to do 5 pro, and we're going to carry it on through the bowls and into the playoffs and Super Bowl. And the winner at the end of the year will get to wear the unit belt. And we're going to be picking 5 games. Now, there's no NFL games this week, just 5 college. So we're going to pick 5 college, 5 pro every week. You can follow us along. And, of course, if you're going to bet with us, bet responsibly. Yes, you don't want to do bet foolishly. You always want to bet responsibly. And, of course, if you have a problem, you call 1-800-GAMBLER. Get the legals out the way. But we're going to be
gamble responsibly.
Gaming here. We're going to be doing responsible betting. We're going to be, I like the $10 units, but we're going to be picking 5 college and 5 pro a week, starting this week with college.
Let's get into it. I'm excited. Like you mentioned, we will have the unit belt. Obviously, when I started the podcast, that was kind of the double meaning was Barstool units were big guys, but we would also be gambling. And so I'm glad that we've come around this football season, and we're going to be doing this, and we are competing for the units belt. We'll have that made soon, and let's see who the biggest unit is.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, Frank, I'll let you start. What are your 5 college picks for this weekend?
Well, the first one I'm actually going to take one that I can't bet on.
Okay.
New Jersey.
New Jersey? Oh, gotcha. It's in Jersey. Yeah, you're in Jersey. You can't place the bet.
And Rutgers is a 7-point underdog playing in Boston College. I think Rutgers is going to make a little bit of a step up this year. I think Rutgers is a program on the rise. And Boston College, they're a hit or miss team. And I don't know if Rutgers is going to win the game, but I believe they're definitely going to cover the 7.
All right, so Rutgers to cover. That's your first pick.
All right. Then my second game is Georgia's got their national championship. They're going to be raising a national championship banner. It's their first game since winning the championship. Everyone's expecting Georgia to compete for a national championship again. They're going to compete for a national championship again. But there's going to be a lot of ceremony. There's going to be a lot of cheers. There's going to be a lot of emotion. And they are 17-point favorites against Oregon. Actually, they're not even playing at home. They're playing at Georgia at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But so they're going to have the home field edge, of course. Oregon's a good team. I'm not saying Oregon's going to win this game. In fact, I don't think Oregon's going to win the game. But I think this game's going to be a 1-score game midway through the 4th quarter. And that 17 points seems too big to me. And I'm taking Oregon into 17 points.
All right, so Oregon.
My third game, Florida's not getting any respect. I think the Gators,
rightfully so.
I think the Gators are going to be a little bit better than they were last year. Utah, a favorite. I know they're 7th ranked, and Florida's unranked, but Utah going into the swamp on a hot, steamy Saturday. I'm taking Florida at +3, but I'm going to tell you this. The Gators are going to win the game outright. The Gators. Okay. In fact, you know what? Fuck it. Gators money line.
Now, Frank, are you sure you want to do this? You don't have to do this, Frank. You sure you want to do this?
I'll stick with Gators.
You got a little ahead of yourself there. All right.
This one I'm not happy to make. This is my fourth pick. I'm
Oh,
not happy about.
well, I mean, Frank, there's a lot of games out there. You're not happy with your own pick?
I don't want to make it, but I have to make it.
Oh,
People are going to ask
oh,
Tank, why didn't you pick Notre Dame? Why didn't you pick Notre Dame? And I'll tell you why. Is they're going to get fucking murdered in Columbus. They're going to get murdered. I think
it's
this
been
is.
that.
I think the new coach. I think he's going to do fine. I think you give him a year, give him 2 years. He's going to have Notre Dame back in the top 10. But I think this is going to be a transition year for Notre Dame. I think they're going to have their bumps along the road. First year coach, rookie coach. I mean, this guy is very young. I don't think. I'm not saying he's not ready. I'm just saying it's just going to be a learning year. And I think Notre Dame's going to have one of those years where they go 8-4, where they might win a bowl game to go to get to 9 wins, but I don't think it's going to be a year where Notre Dame is a factor in the national championship. Ohio State, meanwhile, though, I think Ohio State might win the national championship. They are loaded. Ohio State's loaded. Games in Columbus. When Notre Dame steps up and plays these big programs, they usually get their asses handed to them. They're playing the game in Columbus, opening Saturday. You know, sometimes it takes Notre Dame a week or two to actually even find their groove. They're going to get their asses handed to them. Ohio State's a 17-point favorite. They might win this game. They might win this game by 30. So I'm taking Ohio State minus 17. I don't want to take my Ohio State minus 17, but and people are going to ask me, why didn't you take Notre Dame? Well, I have to take Notre Dame game because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I just think that this is above their pay pay rate. I mean, maybe if they played Ohio State later in the season, they might have a better chance. But the first game of the season it just sets up for Notre Dame just to get murdered.
Frank,
And my fifth
before
game, I'm not going to pick a winner in this game.
okay,
I'm taking the game you're going to be at. Is we're not just doing over under. We're not doing just favorites. We're going to be doing some over unders on our 5 picks, and I'm
Yep.
taking the over under in this pick.
All right.
LSU is a 3-point favorite. I think LSU will win, but that under I saw is 51.5. I am taking the under. I think that will be a low-scoring game in the 20s, and I'm taking the under 51.5 points in LSU Florida State.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I appreciate you not going against FSU there, even though I'm sure you want to, taking the under. Just something came into me. I think this might be a good addition. Let me know your thoughts. We'll make a decision right now. I'm an FSU guy. You're a Notre Dame guy. You're a Dolphins guy. I'm a Jaguars guy. What if one of our 5 picks for college and one of our 5 picks for the NFL each week has to be our teams? Whether it's against or for, one of each of those 5 has to be one of our teams.
Okay, the only exception will be if anyone's playing FCS to goal.
That's fair. That's fair. But other than that, we will have to choose a game that has our team in it. And,
Yes,
it's up to you whether or not you want to bet against your team. But I think that would make it a little more personal.
Yeah, but the FCS games are bullshit.
Yes, yeah. If they're playing an FCS team, we don't count that. Especially, and I as an FSU fan, I will gladly accept that. All right.
Because I think Notre Dame might have an FCS school on their team this schedule this year. I don't know. I have to look at the schedule.
I'm sure they probably have at least one. So, all right, fair enough. All right, so that's the deal. All right, well, I'll go ahead and I'll be quick with mine. I have my 5 picks here. I am going to be in New Orleans. I think the line might have moved. I have it down here, FSU plus 3.5. Let me check. If it's plus 3.5, we'll go with that. But if it's plus 3 plus 3, yeah. When I looked at it last, it was 3.5. Because I think it's over a point. I don't know. I said I was going to be quick about it. Now I'm looking through stuff here, but go to ACC. Yeah, it's plus 3.5. So I've got FSU plus 3.5. Going to go with another Doug school. Tennessee. Oh, actually, hold on. Shoot. No. Ball State is MAC, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not FCS. Yeah, well, I'll make this. Is that okay if I pick Tennessee over Ball State or no?
Yes.
I'm using points.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. I want to make sure I'm not going anything that you don't approve of. So Tennessee minus 33.5. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. Next, I'm going to do.
It's a lot of points, though.
It's a lot of points. Well, if you think that's a lot of points, you're going to love this next one. Utah State plus 41.5.
Who are they playing?
Alabama.
Utah State?
Yeah. They're not FCS,
they?
are they? I hope they're not. They might be.
Hold
Hold
on.
on. Let me Google. Shoot. I don't see it yet, but now that I'm thinking about it.
I think you know what? They're Mountain West.
Okay, cool. So that counts.
Yes.
Nice. Utah State's Mountain West?
Utah State plus?
Yeah, plus 41.5. I think
a lot of points.
I know. I think they'll cover against Alabama. All right, and then I'm kind of doing what you did actually. So I have Notre Dame, Ohio State under 59. So that actually, yeah. So that okay. So I basically did what you did with the FSU LSU. Notre Dame, Ohio State under 50. Did you take that as well?
No.
No. Okay. Good deal. Okay. I don't want to do a repeat. So Notre Dame, Ohio State under 59. All right. You know what? We're going Kalamazoo, Western Michigan plus 21.
Who are they playing?
Michigan State.
I like that one.
Kalamazoo. I've been on their campus once or twice. All right, so Western Michigan plus 21. That'll be my fifth one. Say what?
We'll figure out how we do next week. Who will take the early lead before we get to the NFL and everything else.
Yep. And now let's go. Did you want to run through the Dolphins schedule this week, or you want to hold off until next week?
Let's hold off on that next week.
All right, let's hold off. All right, yeah. So
we'll be on the road next week. We'll figure out a place to record as we get ready to head down to Miami, watch the Dolphins the season opener against the Patriots. Who I think the Patriots are going to have a bad season.
Is that your next bold prediction, Frank?
Here's my biggest bold prediction. The Detroit Lions are going to the playoffs.
I like that. It's Frank. I like that because it is a hopeful bold prediction. I like that. Usually your bold predictions are this team sucks, this team sucks.
Well, I want the fucking Patriots to suck, so that's also a hopeful prediction.
Frank's bold prediction: Lions are making the playoffs. You heard it here first. That is Barstool Units. We'll figure out a place to record on the way down to Miami next week. Frank, please take us out.
Den, 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 den. Or you know what? Here's my song, and this is going to be an earworm that it's going to be in your ear. I'm going to stick it in your ear, and you're going to hate me for it.
All right.
You know, everyone loves the CBS college football song. I've actually come up with words. Ants in the pants at CBS Sports. Ants in the pants at CBS Sports. Click, like, and subscribe. Units next week. Click, like, and subscribe. Don't leave the pants on the floor. Pants in the pants at CBS Sports.
See you next week.